I call to order tonight's meeting of the Southborough Youth Commission on July 8th, 2025 at 7:02 p.m. The first item on our agenda is reviewing and approving the meetings, the minutes from the June 10th. Does anyone have any comments or amendments?
And I know Karen isn't here, but I wanted to thank her for being the interim secretary in my absence. I think the minutes look great, but I can't vote on them, so, because I was not here.
Okay.
Nope, here comes Susan.
Like this and like that. There you go. Okay.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I kept company coming to my house. It's kind of unexpected, so I'm hiding downstairs. So sorry, I'm a few minutes late.
That's okay.
Oh, sorry.
Happy you're here.
All right, now we're all set.
We were just talking about the June 10th meeting minutes, and also it's my first time chairing, so forgive any language mistakes that I make. But if you need a minute to take a look to see if you have any comments or changes.
Congratulations too on your new role, Nancy.
Oh, thank you.
You do a great job.
I appreciate it, Sarah. Okay, so
You have to do a roll call
does
vote.
anyone want to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes? Okay.
You need somebody to make a motion, right?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm abstaining, so I can't make the motion, I don't think.
I'll make them. Well, I wasn't at the last one, so I guess I can't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I guess it's up to Laura.
Laura.
I was also not at the last
Oh
meeting.
my God.
So,
Who-
Okay,
who
Lauren.
was? Did we have a quorum? We
Lauren,
must have. Lauren, can you do it?
I can. Just remind me the minute.
June 10th.
the
June 10th.
June 10th. So I motion to approve the minutes of the June 10th Youth Commission meeting.
I second. Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. So those of us who were there, is it just two of us? Lauren Ritchie.
Aye.
Can we do that since we're not a quorum?
Well, Melissa's joining us, I believe, right
Oh, okay.
now. I'm
Great.
trying to promote her. Whoops. Maybe not. I think this is Melissa.
It looks like it.
Or somebody named Mel.
Melissa, are you there?
She doesn't
Yeah,
raise her
I'm
hand.
here. I just,
Oh,
okay,
there you
here
are.
I am. I have not been, I haven't met virtually before. I prefer the in-person meetings. I'm really, you can see, not really great with the technology. So, yeah, I guess, can everybody see me and hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, here I am.
Here you
I apologize,
are.
Melissa. I didn't recognize the name. as being you. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like I said, I have never joined before like this, and I was in a rush. I was just at the gym and I raced in the door, and I'm using my phone. I don't even have my iPad charged, and I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. You're
okay.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Come as you are.
Yes.
having a lot of new things happening tonight, so.
Yes.
So do we only, oh, sorry.
So we were just going over the meeting minutes from the last meeting, June 10th. And everyone took a look. Nobody had any changes. And we were just about to vote. But Melissa, if you want to take a minute to look at it before we do that.
I looked at it earlier and I don't even have
You
it in
did.
front of me, so I'm sure it's amazing. Good job.
Okay. Okay. Lauren, do you want to
Sure. I made a motion to approve the June 10th, 2025 meeting minutes of the Youth Commission.
And
You
I
just need a
second.
Oh, you seconded. That's right.
I did. I seconded. So we'll take a roll call vote, and if you're abstaining, just say that you're abstaining. Lauren Ritchie,
Aye.
Laura Chioco,
I abstain.
Susan Byer,
I abstain.
Sarah Mikas,
Abstain.
Melissa Shields,
Aye.
and Nancy Sutton, aye. Okay, then we can move on to Sarah with the director's report.
Okay. Of course, I lost my window here. Hold on one second. Okay, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay, let's see. Lots of networking as of recently. I listed a number of organizations or people that we made connections with. I'm realizing oh no, it is in there. Okay, so we had a couple of visitors to our staff meeting. We had the new youth pastor from St. Matthew's Church, Rick Reyes. We also had, I don't know if people are familiar with this. I certainly wasn't, but there is a family shelter in Southborough, which is lovely. St. Mark's Church is sort of in a transitional period. Their minister, Father Phil LaBelle, moved on, and they are without a priest right now. And so they had this house available, and connected with an organization called Family Promise, which offers families temporary shelter and vocational support and a number of other things. And so we had the director of that program come to our staff meeting to talk to us about this very new offering that they have. And we wanted to know how we could sort of support their work and help support families while they were in Southborough, connecting them with a variety of resources. Let's see, Emily has also been doing some outreach. She was at the Southborough Library recently. She attended a Rotary Club meeting. I'm very excited to share. I think I've already mentioned this, but that we're trying to offer more programming support over at the Southborough Housing Authority, aka Colonial Gardens. And so starting not this week, but next Thursday, I'm going to be sort of hosting consultation hours on site so that residents can come over to the, I don't know what to call it. They have like a common building, a program building in the center of their campus there. So I'll be there once a week on Thursdays, just I'll be doing work if nobody comes by, which is totally fine, and I'll be available if somebody does. And then eventually, we hope to have our interns going over to offer some programming over there in addition to joining me with these consultation hours. So that's exciting. And then also new this summer, it's a bit of a pilot program, but it's been going really great. And I'm going tomorrow. We are working with Southborough Extended Day, AKA the school department, to offer leadership training to their CITs. So they were looking for some additional training on what it means to be a leader, communication skills, conflict resolution, and oh, I have a cat that's about to walk across the computer. And it was sort of a win-win scenario because we have our graduate interns who during the summer months are, really looking to get their feet wet with some direct service. So this was a nice opportunity, and it's been going great so far. We continue to collect responses for the community needs assessment survey. As of today, I think the last time I checked, we had 271 responses, which is great. Our goal is to get to 366 responses, which is such a random number, but per trend line, that is a statistically significant number for the population size in Southborough. And so we could really hang our hat on that data if we can reach that goal. So just today, a new outreach opportunity presented itself. Our friends at Recreation invited Emily to come over to join them for their block party that they're hosting at the Finn School tomorrow. So Emily is going to go to that, and hopefully we'll see that number increase even further. Actually, Emily and I think we'll mention this somewhere. Emily and I came in on a rainy Saturday and did some outreach at the town transfer station. I have, in my 17 years of working with the town, have never been to the transfer station. So that was fun.
Oh,
It was
I go
exhilarating.
at least once a week.
Yeah. Well, I was very impressed with how organized it is. So we were at either end of the sorting dumpsters, I guess is what you'd call it. And we kind of watched people, and we didn't want to harass them while their arms were full of stuff. So we kind of tried to wait till they were finished, and then just asked if they would take a flyer and scan the QR code once they got home, and just take 5 to 10 minutes to fill out the survey. And it was really fun because in real time, we could watch the survey numbers go up that day.
That's
So
great.
I think all in all, we ended up with like 30 to 35 responses just from doing that, which is really great.
Are they doing the concert series this summer?
They are. We will be at one of them.
Okay.
It tends to not be a big outreach opportunity to do the concert series because people kind of like to keep to themselves. They're there to unplug, and so we'll have a table for one of them. But we're not gonna go to many more of those. We have a lot coming up in the fall, and because time is on our side, we can continue to solicit responses, even at the beginning of the school year. So my guess is by the end of September, we'll wrap this up. But we will plan on, doing some outreach and trying to get more responses through the open houses that we do at the beginning of the school year, as well as like Heritage Day and things like that typically happen in the fall. So I feel confident we will get 366 responses.
And you said currently, I didn't get the numbers there, 200?
As of 271 as of
Okay,
this
one.
evening. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I am really having fun with info sessions so far this summer. I have developed 3 new ones. And I'm working on QPR to be a QPR gatekeeper instructor so that we can have that available for Suicide Prevention Month in the fall. So the 3 that I've worked on, navigating the mental health system is something that I was already offering, but I really formalized it and made a more robust presentation. And I'm really excited about that one because there's a lot of really good information. Embracing adversity is another one that I worked on. All of these kind of come from conversations that I've had with a number of families. I base a lot of these topics on conversations that we have often. So, sort of letting parents know, this tends to come up with a lot of parents, but letting people know that it's okay to let your loved ones struggle a little because that's how they become resilient and how they develop coping strategies. I also, it's not on here because I've worked on it since writing this director's report, but I just finished an info session just today called Why Mindfulness. And so it's a real, a 1-hour sales pitch for why mindfulness is important and sort of the neuroscience behind it and the benefits, sort of taking a more logical approach as to why it's helpful. So, we're working on mapping out the calendar year. Emily and I just today sat down and did a lot of mapping out the next several months. She is very motivated to create a newsletter for us. I think it's going to be a bi-monthly newsletter. And so we're trying to, sort of keep an eye on what kinds of things are happening seasonally, what holidays occur during certain times of the year, what awareness months are happening. And so we're trying to figure that out. Excuse me. Coming up, we have some outreach opportunities. I'm going to be going to St. Mark's Church this upcoming Sunday. St. Mark's Church has a, I don't know if anybody goes to St. Mark's Church, but they have a program or a fundraising effort or a philanthropy effort called Open Plate. And this past month or quarter, they chose Friends of the Southborough Youth Commission as the recipient of their Open Plate program. And so I will be going, we have a representative of Friends going to St. Mark's with me. Kathy Cook is going to be going with me to talk about Friends of the Southborough Youth Commission, and I'll be going to talk about the department. Karen Englum very graciously invited us to come to a Southborough blood drive. That's another time where we hope to get some more responses on the survey because people are stuck. They're waiting their turn to get their blood drawn and they have to sit there anyway. So we're hoping that we can get them to just spend the few minutes that they're sitting there waiting their turn to fill out the survey. Some information about Encompass, as I mentioned, outreach at the concert series. So a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of things that we're excited to develop for the upcoming school year, which I will share with you in the coming month or so as things sort of take more shape. So, any questions on any of that?
I do have a quick question.
Yes.
What time on Thursdays will you be at Colonial Garden for the hours?
Yes, I'm going to be there. I believe it's 9 to 10 to start. I'm only offering an hour right now because I am working with the office manager there. We are hoping to work together to remodel a pretty, it's a small office space slash large closet space with a window. I think I mentioned this to you guys before. That has the potential to be an office for town departments. I would love to see the nurse from the senior center be over there or the Shine counselor be over there eventually. So they're working on getting a quote for that. And once I have that information, I have offered to pursue a grant opportunity to see if we can get that funded. It's not going to be this big remodel. It will be really just, freshening up the space and maybe putting in some cabinets for storage purposes. But so I'm excited about that prospect. But for right now, I'm only offering an hour because the office manager has offered his space. He's willing to relocate outside of his office for 1 hour at a time for me to meet with residents. So 9 to 10 on Thursdays is what I'm offering right now. And we're kind of piloting it. I'm not sure. I'm hoping that we can also do some programming over there. I'm not a super familiar face, so people might not want to come over and talk to me right away until they've gotten to know us a little bit better. But like I said, I'm happy to just go over and do work if nobody shows up.
I know some people over there, and I was thinking like, I could mention it to them. I
Oh, good.
in particular that I was thinking like, would definitely like be happy to talk to you.
Okay.
And I was thinking too about the survey, like a lot of those people like might be interested if you might not have the technology to do it, but if you have capability for them to do it, they might be interested and have the time to do something like that.
Yeah, we have hard copies of them, and that's a very good reminder that I had hoped to bring those over, because we could actually put them in, we have enough that we can put one in everybody's mailbox. But yes, that would be great, Melissa, if you don't mind spreading the word about that.
Yep, I will. I will if I have the opportunity, if I can, but I just wanted to know the time in case I run into anybody.
Gotcha.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone else have any comments they wanted to make on the director's report or questions for Sarah? Okay. Not to throw it right back at you, Sarah, but do you have an update on the salary adjustments or the personnel meeting?
Yeah, there was a personnel board meeting on June 17th. Leading up to that, the town administrator, Mark Purple, had made a recommendation to the personnel board, which did sort of highlight that some of the more tenured employees in the town had sort of fallen behind. Actually, Sarah and Lauren were there, so you guys should back me up if I'm not characterizing this correctly, but they, there was sort of a recognition of that being the case. And, I appreciate their need to sort of have an equitable response, because there's a number of employees that were looking to have their salaries adjusted. And so what they did was I think they said anybody who's 7 years or more having worked for the town, or it could have been 8 years.
I think
but
it was.
Was it 8?
I don't remember now. I'm sorry.
That would make more sense to me actually, now that I'm saying
it. Wasn't
because
9.
it wasn't 9. So anybody that I think it was 8 years. Anybody that had been working for the town 8 years or more would be moved to a minimum of a step 8. So didn't matter, you know, if you're 11 years, 8 years, anybody who's above or who's been with the town 8 years everybody would move to a step 8. I would anticipate that this conversation would continue at the next salary study, which is, I believe, scheduled for 2027. At this stage, this is just a recommendation. So Mr. Purple made the recommendation to the personnel board, and then the personnel board voted on that and voted in support of that recommendation. It still needs to move forward to, now I believe the select board was briefed on that. I don't know that they've had any discussion about it, but I think Mark Purple had given an update to the select board about the outcomes of the personnel board meeting so that they were aware. And so it still needs to go through several more hurdles, so to speak, for it to be implemented. I think the goal is for it to be brought to the special town meeting this fall. And so ultimately it would need to pass at the town meeting for it to be effective. And they also talked about it not waiting until July 1st of FY 27, but rather it being effective at the beginning of the calendar year 2026. So in January of 2026. So that's a lot of information I just shared. I guess the bottom line is that it was given support by the personnel board and that it's moving on to the next stage. So we'll see what happens. Sarah or Lauren, did I miss anything?
No, I think that was a very good summary. It was a positive. I think everybody's on board and sees that these discrepancies are a serious issue, and I think between the personnel board, Mark Purple, and other boards that are involved in making these decisions, I hope that it will be passed at the special town meeting. Because when you really look at, when you go back, I looked at, you know, what the salary changes would be for both Sarah and Megan based on moving them. It's a significant amount of money. And when you look at market, you know, what the market average for like a director of a program in Sarah's position, it's about $150,000 a year. So, you know, we need to really be mindful of keeping our loyal and experienced and very well-trained personnel in place, and therefore we need to pay them appropriately. You know, that's what the market calls for, and I think everybody else felt the same. So that was good. I don't think it's going to be a huge fight. I think that, yeah, I hope that we can get the word out for the special town meeting and get it passed. So that might be an area where we need to think about how we market that. I don't know what, you know, get the message out to town residents that this is important.
Thank you.
I agree. Sarah I don't remember, Megan is 8+ years too, isn't she?
Yes, the only two impacted in our department are Megan and myself. Although one additional piece to add. So also part of this conversation, I don't know if people are aware that in the salary administration plan, it basically lists all of the different approved job titles and the placement within the grid system. And so for a long time, there's been two different categories of business administrator. There's business administrator 1 and business administrator 2. And I think for the duration of the time that those two job descriptions have existed, there's been a lot of feedback from the people in those positions about which category they would fit into, and feeling probably some inequities in terms of because they were sort of graded differently. So the decision was made, or not the decision was made, the recommendation was made to combine both of those to have just one business administrator position instead of having a BA1 and a BA2. And that one of them was a grade 4 and the other one was a grade 5. And so everybody's going to move to a grade 5. So one business administrator, everybody's at a grade 5. So that does impact us. We have a business administrator, Janet Bartolane is ours, and she was at a grade 4. So she'll be moving to a grade 5 if this moves forward. I will say it is something that we want to consider. Our program coordinator is also at a grade 5. And that may create some need to reevaluate everybody's grades, or I don't know what kind of domino effect that has, but now our business administrator and our program coordinator, has a master's degree in public health and is doing much more front facing type of work in the community, and the types of work are very different. And so I would imagine, again, this would be something that would be highlighted in the salary study, that I'm happy that this is the case for our business administrators, and what does it mean for the rest of the grading within the department, or does it mean anything? I don't know, but I would think so. So but again, we are happy. We're very appreciative of the personnel board and town administration for taking a look at this and for making this recommendation. It does mean a lot for morale, and and thank you all for your support of this. It's been very much appreciated.
It sounds like positive progress,
Yes.
but continue to let us know ways that we can support.
Yes. Yeah, I do think Sarah's point of, because I think, those of us who have been to town meeting know that it can go in any direction at any time. And this is one of those things that may be flying under the radar. I'm not sure that residents pay a lot of attention to what's happening on the personnel board. And so it may be beneficial. Some things go through no problem. Other times, they don't. And so I think it could be beneficial for youth commission members to be present, and or to just talk with other residents about it, so that we can gain support just in case it's needed.
Does anyone else want to make a comment? Okay. The next item on the agenda is outreach opportunities, but I think Sarah spoke to all of them already during the director's report. You talked about the summer concert series.
Yeah.
St. Mark's Church.
Yeah, I do want to, sorry, Nancy, just to interject, it just occurred to me. So we as staff members are going to be going to the August 6th concert. But if anybody again, I don't know that it's a huge opportunity for outreach, but if anybody wanted to or was, already planning to go to one of the concerts and wants to do some outreach, we gladly appreciate the help. St. Mark's Church is really just a brief talk, so we don't need any assistance with that. Karen Englam is like a one-woman show. She even Emily said, "Can I help in some way?" And Karen said, "No, I think I got it." So, but the last item on there, sharing survey information, we really appreciate your continued sharing of the information about the survey. It's been a bit of we are persevering. It's been a bit of a process just to even get as many people to fill out the survey as we have. So any ways you can think of to share that with neighbors, friends, family members, anybody. We started adding to our little spiel at the transfer stations, reminding people that anybody 16 or older can take the survey. And so everyone in your household can do it if they haven't already. And you can share that with people when you talk to them about it, because we appreciate having different age groups and their perspectives. So.
Did anyone else have any outreach ideas or comments on outreach?
When, Sarah, do you start planning for the fall open houses and that mad rush?
We already have it on our radar mentally. We don't yet know the date. It may be shared somewhere, but in years past, it has not always been sort of announced until midsummer or later in the summer, what day they plan to do the open houses. But it's something that we should know fairly soon, and would greatly appreciate your help with that. For anybody
We'll know more by the August.
Oh, for sure.
meeting?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Because I'd like to put those on my calendar.
Yeah. For anybody that hasn't done it or isn't familiar, with the exception of Trotter, all of the elementary schools have their open houses on the same day during sort of the same time frame, which means unless we figure out how to replicate ourselves, there's no way that we can cover all of it. Also, because it's quite busy, it's a bit like the mall at the holiday season, and maybe even busier because people are shopping online these days. But it's helpful to have two people at each school, just to, some people are just passing through very quickly. And so you have enough time to say, here, take a bag, here, take some information, while other people want to stop and chat. So it's nice to sort of tag team each school. So that is one time of year that we really appreciate the help of youth commission members, because, we, as staff, we can't be at all of those places at once. So, so yes, I will make sure, and we can also email you the date sooner if we get it, to let you know, because I appreciate what you're saying, Sarah, that it's helpful to have it on the calendar as soon as possible.
Yes. Because it's a busy time of year, especially for those who have students.
Right.
It's not so busy for me now that I'm retired and have adult children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes I'm able to drag the students in my house in and get them to hand out bags.
Oh, that's good.
Because Sarah's right, it's crazy. It was Woodward that I was in. It was crazy, and most people weren't even going to the table. So
I know you have to like
ourselves
really
by the stairs and like the hallway that people were going.
Yeah,
down.
you have to like really put yourself out there and say, here, take a bag, whether you want it or not. And like,
like this free bag here.
Put yourself in front of them. And it's a bit of a demanding couple of hours. But
Okay, well, we don't have a friends update because we don't have Karen. So unless anyone else has a comment on outreach or the community needs assessment, we can move to adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn the July 8th, 2025 meeting of the Southborough Youth Commission at 7:42.
I second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. Laura Chioco,
Aye.
Susan Byer. Susan, can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I.
That's okay. Melissa Shields,
Aye.
Sarah Micus,
Aye.
Nancy Sutton, aye.
And me.
oh,
And Lauren Ritchie, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Thank you.
thanks everybody. Good to see you.
Have a
Have
good
a
night,
good
everybody.
July. I hope everybody gets to the beach.
You too, Sarah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.